Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining us during the Lytham Partners Fall 2023 Investor Conference. My name is Ben Shamsian, Vice President of Lytham Partners. Our next presentation comes from Hydreight Technologies, ticker symbol NURS on the Toronto Stock Exchange Venture, HYDTF on the OTC, and SO6 on the Frankfurt Exchange. Presenting from the company is Vahid Shababi. A copy of the slide presentation is available on your webcast screen. Today, I've asked the company to briefly run through the slide presentation, and we will then engage in a fireside chat Q&A session. As a reminder, the company will be available for one-on-one virtual meetings. If you have not already signed up, please send me an email at shamsian@lythampartners.com. That's SHAMSIAN at lythampartners.com, or visit lythampartners.com/virtual and click the one-on-one meeting request button. With that said, let me now turn the presentation over to Vahid Shababi. Vahid, please proceed.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present, and thanks for everyone who's attending our presentation. So we took advantage of the fragmented and broken medical system in the United States and created that as an opportunity for Hydreight to create the biggest mobile clinical network to connect everyone within the same ecosystem. In United States, in most states, it's illegal for nurses to work outside of the brick and mortars unless they have a medical director. They are part of a legal structure called Friendly PC, connected and access to a compound pharmacy, and also work under under a legal structure for to be compliant with the medical rules and regulations. We created them all under Hydreight with the underlayer tech that helped them the flow of the offering from the beginning of the patient starting the service all the way to the delivery, that they go through that to connect the nurses to a pharmacy to our network of doctors. So with Hydreight, we're empowering the healthcare professionals to be able to be 1099 contractors, and they set up their own shop over on our platform and start offering their services at home, at the office, or at the hotel at their customers' convenience. We have created this nationwide mobile clinical network to help everyone to receive the services that they're looking for. The company has gone through a significant growth in the last 3 years, and we have seen the revenue for the company going from about $1 million in 2020 to the top line adjusted revenue of the $2.2 million in 2021, $8.4 million in 2022, and the first half of the 2023 we finished with over $8 million. We are projecting to finish the 2023 with over $16 million top line adjusted revenue and having the same growth in the future years. Our revenue has, we have 3 different streams for our revenue. One is the subscription. The nurses, in order to be on our platform and get booked, they pay us an annual subscription fee of on average $4,000 US dollars, which is equal to roughly about 5,200 Canadian. After they get onboarded on our platform, then we take 10% of any booking that they get through our system. And in order for them to stay compliant with the latest rules and regulations, they have to order all their product from our pharmacy. And our margin on the pharmacy side is 20%. Now, the whole system is very designed very uniquely. Now we're getting approached by many of the larger franchises, the brick and mortar franchises, to white label the solutions from the doctor network to the technology to the pharmacy. And that has become our 4th revenue stream, but it's been broken down into the same 3, which is subscription, a percentage of the sales, and the pharmacy sales that we get from these brick and mortars as well. And we can see how that has a direct impact on our revenue year over year, and that will continue the same thing. Now, the numbers that you see, it's only for roughly about 3,000 nurses on board with us. there are 4.5 million nurses in the United States. That shows how untapped that market is. So if you look at the Hydreight in a holistic view, we're revolutionizing the at-home healthcare by helping all the healthcare professionals to become the 1099 contractors and offering their services at home and creating that legal structure and what they need in order for them to do so. There is an untapped growth potential for us that the home healthcare market has been growing fast. And after the COVID-19, that has been expedited because now people are expecting to receive their services and their products at home. The company has shown significant growth in past few years, and we're projecting to experience the same thing in the next few years as well. We do have some upcoming catalysts by adding new services to the catalogs of our services that the nurses can offer, that also open new orderings from our pharmacy in order to fulfill those prescriptions. And also we have a few acquisitions, target acquisitions in mind and in line for us to work on those and bring them on board with us. Now, if you look at the market size, as I mentioned, the numbers that we're hitting right now is based on less than 3,000 nurses on board with us. But we're looking at the market that are 4.5 million nurses, and they all have three things in common. They're not happy with the hours that they're spending at the hospitals. They're not happy with the pay, and they're not happy with the level of the service they're offering due to the schedule that they're facing. And this is a perfect solution for them to have to either switch completely to have their own business on the side, or to have a balance between working in the hospitals and also offering their own services at home. Hydreight, we keep adding more services for our nurses to be able to offer those. Our legacy product has been IV infusion that been offering across the United States in 50 states, obviously considering the latest legislation in every state. Now, we started adding the static fillers and the product in that area. Now we're adding the lab tests that our nurses can actually go to your home, your office, your hotel, and do the blood test. And now, just because we do have a blood test, that opens a new door for us that we can get into the patient-specific semaglutide and weight loss and NAD+, which is around anti-aging and addictions, that is based on every individual blood test. The dosage will come based on that. Now, obviously, any of these services and products are based on what's legal in that state. And that's one of the things that our tech provides, that to only show and provide these on the states that based on the pharmacy board, medical board, and the nursing board, it's legal to be offered. The company went public in December 2022, less than a year ago. The main focus for us has been working on the growth, scaling the business, and creating the foundation for this business. And we started applying for our OTC listing and DTC eligibility that we received that in early Q2. Starting late Q2, we started, paying more attention to the capital market side to share our stories with more investors and get more eyeballs on the story so they can follow us. The company went public with a very tight structure, with over 38 million outstanding shares, which of that, the inside ownership is about 70%. And right now, the company's been trading roughly around 1 time of the top line revenue that we have, which is in the market, the average is a lot higher than that. Now, there are a few key points for every investors to think about for a Hydreight. One is the untapped market and the growth potentials that we're having. The significant growth that we had in the previous years, and we're projecting to see that in the next few years as well. The new services that is going to be offered on the platform, and new M&A, as well as the white label opportunities that more franchises need to have an all-in-one solution to be able to start offering their services. The cash position of the company, in compare to the operating costs that we're having on the monthly basis. Now, this is the story of the Hydreight. We're here to answer any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions here, or if there's any future questions, feel free to email us and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions.
Right. Thank you, Vahid. Let's delve into some topics. I want to talk about the infrastructure that you've set up and its importance. There are various laws and regulations, different states. Tell us why this is important, and sort of the task that it took to put this together.
So we're looking at an industry that is very regulated for the right reasons. And also, you look at the industry that during the COVID-19, many of the rules and regulation was relaxed so that services can be offered to the patients. Now the pandemic is over and they're cracking down into these rules and regulations and going back to where it was, if it not becoming harder. So it's key for us to have a very good understanding of the rules and regulations across 50 states, because when you're talking about the 50 states, there are 50 different countries and they're all different from one to the other, and dealing with 3 different boards, which is a pharmacy board, medical board, as well as the nursing board. So we need to have a good understanding on what can be done in what states and how should be done. What is the flow that is needed to be done, and translate that into a technology and connecting the flow from the patients, from inquiring the service all the way to the delivery of the service. So that's why it's key for us to not only invest money that we invested it on the legal side to have this understanding of these legislations and upcoming legislations, but also translate that into a technology that can help our healthcare professionals to follow that and stay within the rules and regulations.
Got it. Thank you. I want to get into the revenue streams. You talked about the 4 revenue streams. Can you walk us through a typical transaction, right? Start from, when the customer clicks on the app all the way to the end, and sort of how those revenue streams flow through.
Absolutely. So in order for a nurse or a healthcare professional to be on our app, to be booked, is they have to pay an annual fee, on average $4,000 US upfront every year. So that's the first revenue stream that it comes in order for any of the service providers to be on the app. Now, when the service providers is on the app, based on the states and based on their certifications, they're going to have their own menu. For lack of a better example, you can think of the Uber Eats, that each restaurant has its own menu with their own pricing. Now, if they have an IV drip for $350 on the app, and a patient go and book that service providers for $350, we receive 10% of that right away, which is $35 of that booking. Then, in order for that healthcare professional to be able to provide that service, he or she should have ordered, the entire kit and what needs to be provided to the customers from our pharmacy, which their cost is about $40 to $50. Which of that we have about 20% profits on that order that they made. The rest goes to the nurse, and that's a typical transaction. Now, what is happening is we see many of these service providers getting booked for multiple people, which is a group of friends or a family, or they have something called like IV parties or Botox parties, that they have 5, 10, 20 people getting together and book one nurse to go within in time span of half an hour to 2 hours, stop providing that service to them all, which is great for the service provider and is great for us, because again, we have that 10% and also the pharmacy the order as well. Now, that's the first three revenue streams. The fourth revenue streams is there are multi-locations franchises that they white label our entire solution and they put their own skin. So they have their own app in the App Store, and any booking that they get and any order that is coming, we still take advantage of the same flow, which is a subscription, the percentage of the sales of the service, and also the pharmacy orders, we take advantage of that as well.
Got it. You describe yourself as a B2C business, but there's also a B2B component to it. Can you sort of parse those two out and explain those differentiations?
We've been a B2B business for past 3 years. We're just focusing on healthcare professionals, and they go out and they find their customers to be able to start offering those services. The reason that we focus on the B2B for past few years was because if we would have focused on B2C and the consumers would have gone on the app and we didn't have enough service providers within those states or cities, then that would have been a big disappointment for the end users. So we focused to onboard as many providers as we can. And right now we're covering over 650 cities in the United States. And every healthcare professionals brought their own client base from their own community. We obviously help them with education and content and all that so they can, do their own marketing, but we never focus on the B2C. Now starting Q3 and Q4 this year, now we're partnering up with another company and launching our dispatch service, which is focusing on the B2C, and the clients and customers can actually get on this website and either get on a phone with the full-time nurse, ask questions, and that full-time nurse will dispatch the nearest service providers to offer their services to them, or they can book it directly online. So far we've been focusing on the B2B, but starting this year, end of this year, now we also gonna add the B2C flavor to support our business partners and the healthcare professionals to also take advantage of the leads and the customers that we also send to them.
Got it. Let's talk about the nurses. Lots of, we hear statistics about sort of the happiness level of nurses. But let's talk about the numbers. And you talk about their ability to make more money being on the Hydreight platform. Help us talk through those numbers. How is that possible through your platform?
So if you look at the persona of the healthcare professional and the nurses on our platform, you see three different personas. One is a group that they keep their 9-to-5 job or their by bed job, and they have this as a side job, very similar to the Uber driver, that he or she has the full-time job and also having this on the side. Then we see a group that they convert that to a full-time job. We have nurses that they quit their job and they just focus on this one as the only job that they have. And the third group is that they hold a license for if they have a specific group of clients that they get booked, or for event basis that every month or every 2 months or every 3 months they get booked for one event, and they make a big money from that. So it goes back for this one. The money goes back to how much time they put into this, into this platform. And the example that I used, like for one IV drips, like on average they charge $350, and of the $350 that they charge, roughly about $270, $260 is for the nurse. And that's only for one person, that it takes about 20 minutes for them, or 30 minutes to do that. Now, when they get booked for multiple parties, that number is going to increase. So when they create their own client base, that's an ongoing revenue, and they have. But more importantly, they have a full control over their schedule. So they can book themselves and open their schedule based on the time that they want to put to work, rather than working long hours in the hospitals. And again, we see a big population of them that they keep them both, and they have that flexibility to have this as a side gig for their the actual by bed job that they have.
All right, got it. Let's dive into the numbers. The last few quarters, the growth has just been spectacular, both from a revenue standpoint as well as on the bottom line. And then you have some very good projections going out. What gives you confidence about hitting those projections going forward?
So those projections are based on a few factors for us. One is continue the organic growth the way that we're growing based on the sales and marketing channels that we've created it. The second one is based on adding more services that we have on the pipeline, so our existing healthcare professionals and nurses can offer higher ticket services, from NAD plus to patient specific and all that. A third factor is for us to outreach and create a sales strategy around the white labels. Right now, all the white labels that we sign is incoming calls that we're getting. But as the rules and regulations getting harder, they would love to have a solution like us as an out of the box package that they can go for it. So that's the third factor that we're going to focus. And lastly is either we do one minor acquisitions that is going to add more revenue stream for us, or we're creating it within the business. And by considering those factors, we came up with those projections. And if you look at the growth percentage that we had since 2020, we've been on the very similar growth pattern since then. And that's, again, another factor for us to come up with those projections for next year and the year after.
Got it. Naheed, thank you very much for your time today. We really appreciate it. To anyone out there who has not yet signed up for a one-on-one, again, please send me an email at shamsian@lythampartners.com, shamsian@lythampartners.com, or visit lythampartners.com/virtual and click the one-on-one meeting request button. With that said, we thank you for your time, and we hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks, everyone.